All right, section 5, short section. We're going to be talking about the beneficial role of prokaryotes. Not that their benefits are a short list, it is a very long list or very important list. So our goals for this section is to know all vocab, of course. We need to know how prokaryotes help out other organisms and what roles a prokaryote plays in an ecosystem and all of the ecosystems. So, first thing is to know that prokaryotes live symbiotically with lots and lots of different organisms. We talked about this before, but lots of prokaryotes live within organisms. Even you and I have prokaryotes living in and on us, which is kind of gross, but at the same time, they're necessary. So you can't live without these bacteria doing their thing, so you might as well appreciate them, right? Now, most of the time it's going to be in the digestive tract. So the bacteria are able to digest things that normally wouldn't be able to, or help digest things faster or access more nutrients out of them. So in effect, the bacteria help us get more nutrition out of our food, and as payment, they get a place to live, they get some of that food too, and they get a stable environment in which to live in. Now, outside of our bodies, we still use prokaryotes a lot, most notably in food. So perhaps the easiest ones to recognize would be yogurt over here is made by using milk and bacteria, and cheese, which is also used with milk and bacteria, which is pretty neat that they can make both these different kinds of cultures and two different things, just in different time frames, different ways, two very different foods, two very important foods worldwide. Right? Most cultures have some kind of milk fermented with bacteria, like yogurt or like cheese, that has helped them to survive. Because what is it doing? Well, it's preserving the nutrients of the milk, and milk is lots and lots of nutrients. So instead of throwing it away, you can preserve it. And it tastes really good too. I like cheese a lot. I think you like cheese too. Okay, so the role of an ecosystem for prokaryotes. Now, prokaryotes live in an ecosystem too, of course, but one of the most important roles is that of an oxygen generator. So we've talked about this before, but cyanobacteria, right? So named cyanobacteria, they're bluish green. That green is to remind us that they do photosynthesis. But what is photosynthesis? Well, that's combining carbon and water to make sugars, and the waste product of this is oxygen. That's very important. Every eukaryote needs oxygen, right? We need to do cellular respiration. Plants need it too for their cellular respiration, and we get a lot of that oxygen from cyanobacteria. Most of it even is coming from little cellular organisms in the ocean. Now, not just oxygen, even though that is probably the most important element that they recycle, but they also recycle things like carbon, like nitrogen, sulfur, all kinds of different things that without which there wouldn't be any raw materials to make another generation of living things, if that makes sense, right? Living things are made up of like 5 major elements, the CHNOPS, right? The carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. If something dies and doesn't get broken down by a microorganism, well, those elements just stay in the body of that dead organism. And that's not good, because resources and elements, they're not unlimited. It might seem like that when we look out into the world and see like, wow, there's lots of trees, or there's lots of water, or there's lots of whatever there is, but it's still a limited resource, right? It's not infinite. And the bacteria do a very important job of recycling most things, right? And they're so good at it that we can use them for bioremediation. What is that? Well, you guys know that bio means life, living. But what is remediation? That's to fix something, to restore something. So it's living things restoring something. And what they restore is an ecosystem. So with one notable exception of plastic, bacteria can digest anything that humans produce, which is amazing, right? So you think you're cool recycling your Coke can or your water bottle. Well, look at bacteria. They're doing all that automatically, and yeah, they think it's great. They're like, oh, sweet, free food. So it's pretty amazing how important of a role the prokaryotes play. If they weren't doing their job, our physical existence really wouldn't last too long if it started at all, if that makes sense. Um, Yeah, they need to be there to degrade things. And whenever you see that biodegradable emblem, what does that mean? Well, it's probably talking about a bacteria breaking down whatever the substance is, be it paper or food or rubber or anything like that. Bioremediation is especially cool because it can help us fix our mistakes, right? So one case is a bunch of spilled jet fuel into the ground and into the water sources. Well, bioremediation and bacteria was used to eat those up. In a pretty short period of time, 75% of that jet fuel had been eaten. Likewise, they've been used for oil spills, right? So you can send out a bunch of oil-eating bacteria to go and fix the oil spill. Of course, it's always better to prevent an accident like that, but it's nice to know that there is some kind of plan, some kind of backup to fix our mistakes, because mistakes are inevitable, right? We're human, that always happens. Now, in review, what does a prokaryote play a role in for nutrition? Humans specifically would be good, but all living things kind of have the same ideal here. It's like they live symbiotically. What happens to the world if prokaryotes stop doing their whole recycling thing? Well, think about that. Where would anything get its raw materials from? And why are bacteria so important for maintaining and restoring ecosystems, right? So think of blank remediation. What do we use the prokaryotes for? Okay, well, that is the end of section 5. As always, if you have any questions, email me or leave a comment on Google Classroom. I will see you in the final section, section 6. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.